answer the bell. Now let's go.
It's Friday, and we're having a good time here at Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. It's going to be a great show as we get you ready for the weekend. Hope you guys are having a fantastic start to the final day of the week. I know I am. Mo, what's up? How are you?
I'm good. Getting ready for the weekend. Like you said, busy, but fun. So.
It's going to be a very busy weekend. Lots of great stuff going on this weekend in the world of hoops and more. We'll talk a lot of hoops today. We've got TREVECCA's women's coach, Karen Booker, will join us and talk a little bit about their Saturday tilt with Ohio Dominican, featuring a former Vanderbilt women's basketball coach as well. So that should be fun. We'll also talk a little Auburn and Tennessee with Auburn beat writer NUBYJAS WILBORN and get his thoughts on what's going on the Plains and what he thinks will happen this weekend when Bruce Pearl makes his trip back to Thompson Bowling Arena. We've got a lot of other stuff to get to as well. There's some football stuff, some NCAA stuff. There's a lot to get to. So we're going to do that. Should be fun. But
let's do it.
We should go ahead and get into the results and schedule because it is Friday, and that means the rundown is long. So we give it to you now on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
The Friday rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit Realty Bob Lamb and Associates. The voice of the Blue Raiders also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or through his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support youth sports across Middle Tennessee.
Girls basketball action last night. Battleground Academy Downs Columbia Academy 66-59. It was Brentwood 84, John Overton 28. Spring Hill down Cornersville 45-41, while Culleoka was a 61-37 winner over Hampshire. Clarksville Academy defeated Donaldson Christian 57-48. It was Knowledge Academy 17, Glencliff 13. Football score there. All right. Harpeth Hall with a 3-point win over Christ Presbyterian, 60-57. It was Loretto 71, Mount Pleasant 8. Murfreesboro Central Magnet, a 55-19 winner over Martin Luther King. Providence Christian 77, University School of Nashville 20. It was Riverside Christian 46-25 winners over Zion, and Rossview 79, Clarksville Northeast 9.
In boys basketball action on Thursday night, BGA with a last-second layup defeats Columbia Academy 50-48. We've got coverage on MainStreetMurray.com. Also, Brentwood 62, Overton 51, Smyrna Downs Cane Ridge 67-64, West Creek with a 68-63 win over Clarksville Northwest, Spring Hill 63, Cornersville 45, Culleoka Downs Hampshire 77-56, Clarksville Academy with a 66-33 win over Donaldson Christian, Knowledge Academy 65, Glencliff 59, Loretto with a 61-40 win over Mount Pleasant, Martin Luther King defeats Murfreesboro Central 72-66, Middle Tennessee Christian 52, Franklin Grace Christian 51, Providence Christian 55, University School of Nashville 43, Zion Christian with an 83-42 win over Riverside Christian, and Rossview defeats Clarksville Northeast 65-53.
Women's college basketball action, Lipscomb Downs Eastern Kentucky 74-65, Tennessee State a winner over Southern Indiana, and the Screaming Eagles 59-55. It was UTEP ending the streak for Middle Tennessee State. And you know what? Chip Walters called it, said that the women have struggled at UTEP, and they struggled, in fact, 65-62. Lady Miners, I guess. I guess miners are just miners. No,
I would think. Yeah. They're all in there swinging those pickaxes. So yeah.
I mean, if you're mining, you're not.
You don't care. Yeah.
Austin P 72-52 winners over Bellarmine. It was Belmont 64-54 over Murray State, and Tennessee gets a 65-51 win over Ole Miss. On the men's side, Liberty down Austin P 82-70. Tennessee State 80-76, completing the sweep over Southern Indiana. It was Lipscomb 66, Queen 60, and MTSU getting the home win against the Miners 84-72. And on the NBA side, the Cleveland Cavaliers just continued to make the Grizzlies struggle. 128-113 over Memphis.
Tonight's high school basketball schedule locally. Doubleheaders, 6 o'clock starts. Gallatin at Beach, Providence Christian at Battleground Academy, Father Ryan's at Brentwood Academy, Rossview goes to Clarksville, Clarksville Academy hosts Friendship Christian, Clarksville Northwest hosts Henry County, Culleoka is at Collinwood, Mount Juliet goes to Cookville, Franklin Road Christian is at Cornersville, Dixon County hosts Kenwood, Eagleville hosts Moore County, Kemp Nashville goes to East Nashville, Tennessee Heat plays at Easel Harding, Brentwood at Franklin, Zion Christian at Franklin Christian, Loretto goes to Giles County. Glencliff hosts Antioch. Good Pasture takes on visiting Davidson Academy. Franklin Road Academy goes to Franklin Grace. Lebanon is at Green Hill. Cheatham County is at Harpeth. Hendersonville hosts Hunters Lane. Overton goes to Hillsboro. Independence, number 1 in Class 4A, takes on Ravenwood in Thompson Station. Tullahoma goes to Lawrence County. Whites Creek is at Lead Academy. Creekwood goes to Liberty Creek. Lincoln County hosts Page, and Spring Hill travels to Marshall County.
Gavick is hosting Station Camp. Webb School will be at Middle Tennessee Christian. Summertown is at Mount Pleasant, and Murfreesboro Central is at home against Hume Fogg. Donaldson Christian goes to Nashville Christian, and Centennial travels to Nolensville. Pearl Cohn hosting Stratford, and Pope Preps at home against Ensworth. Montgomery Central goes to Portland. Hampshire's at Richland. Oakland is at Riverdale, and Blackman goes to Siegel. Westmoreland at home against, Westmoreland traveling to Smith County, while Smyrna is at home against Laverne. Clarksville Northeast goes to Springfield. Sycamore is at Stewart County. Antioch goes to Stewart's Creek. Columbia Central is at Summit. Hillwood's at Valor Collegiate. Watertown hosting Cannon County. Santa Fe's down at Wayne County. White House at home against Greenbrier, and White House Heritage is at home against Fairview.
In girls only tonight. Am I reading that right, Chris?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, in girls basketball only tonight, St. Cecilia plays at Lipscomb Academy. That's a 6 o'clock start. Boys only game, Christ Presbyterian Academy is at Montgomery Bell Academy. That's a 7:30 tip. Saturday action, Giles County is at Lewis County. That's a 5 o'clock start on that doubleheader there. The rest of these are 6 o'clock starts. Lipscomb Academy is at Christ Presbyterian Academy. Lead Academy is at East Robertson. Republic goes to Franklin Christian. Franklin Road Christian hosts Lancaster Christian. Maplewood is at Martin Luther King. Pope Prep hosts Brentwood Academy. Sycamore hosts White House Heritage. Columbia Academy goes to University School of Nashville, as Maddie Lewis is 23 points away from 2,000.
Uh-oh.
Exactly. And in a Saturday boys only tilt at 6 o'clock, Covenant Christian of Alabama plays the Tennessee Heat, wherever the Tennessee Heat is hosting on Saturday.
If she's 23 points away from 2,000, then she is the school record holder at this point.
She is already the school record
Yes.
holder. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought so.
She's getting ready to put that record somewhere that's going to be really hard
to beat. Doubleheader action, college basketball tonight. Fisk is at Tougaloo. That's a 5 o'clock start for the women, men's to follow. On Saturday, Fisk will take on Dillard at Tougaloo. That's a noon start for the women, men to follow. Tennessee State is at Eastern Illinois, 1 o'clock on ESPN+. Again, Ohio Dominican is at Trevecca. That's a 1 o'clock start as well. And Cumberland down in Pulaski to take on the Firehawks of UT Southern, also at 1 o'clock. Saturday, junior college action. Columbia State hosts Walters State, women at 2, men to follow. And Vol State is over at Cleveland State at 1 o'clock with men to follow as well. On Sunday at Tougaloo, Fisk and Wiley College will start at noon in women's play.
Also, in women's basketball action on Saturday, Lipscomb is at Bellarmine. That's a 1 o'clock start, can be seen on ESPN Plus. At 3:30 on ESPN Plus, Austin P is at Eastern Kentucky. On Sunday, Georgia is at Memorial Gym against the Commodores. Georgia, who pushed South Carolina to overtime last night.
Yeah.
That game is at noon. It's on the SEC network. And at 2 o'clock on ESPN Plus, you can see Belmont in Peoria, Illinois against Bradley. Men's basketball action on Saturday. Ole Miss is at Vanderbilt. That's a noon start on the SEC network. At 1, as we mentioned, Auburn is at Thompson Bowling Arena against Tennessee. That game's on ESPN. At 3 o'clock on ESPN Plus, you can see Queens at Austin Peay. At 4 on ESPN3, Illinois State is at the Curb Event Center against Belmont. Also at 4 on ESPN Plus, Liberty comes to Lipscomb. And at 5 on ESPN Plus, the Roadrunners of Texas San Antonio at the Glass House against the Blue Raiders.
NBA action on Sunday. The Raptors will be at the Grizzlies. That's 5 o'clock tip on Bally Sports South. NHL All-Star action on Saturday at 2 o'clock. The Central All-Stars will take on the Pacific All-Stars. At 3 o'clock, it'll be the Metropolitan All-Stars and the Atlantic All-Stars. And at 4 o'clock, the winners of those two games will play. You can see that all on ABC. And then Sunday, the Busch Clash at the Coliseum, 7 o'clock on Fox for some NASCAR. And that's it for your rundown. That was a lot faster than I expected it to be.
That was intense. Very nice.
Say what?
So that was intense. It was very intense.
That was very intense. Yes.
Intense, but also like we got it all in like under 10 minutes. How about that?
We're getting better.
The weekend rundown in under 10 minutes. Who would have thought it?
Go figure.
Top story today, Mo. We've kind of ignored it all, for a couple of days, but really because I wanted to be able to get into it as much as we could and talk a little bit about the NCAA's decision to essentially make NIL investigations a guilty until proven innocent situation. Now, what we have to remember is that much like the TSSAA, the NCAA doesn't just hand down rules. Rules are made by member institutions.
That is important to recognize, acknowledge, remember, like you said. This isn't the NCAA or the TSSAA, just coming up with this stuff. Member institutions have to sign off on it. So if the decision has been made to make schools innocent until proven guilty, they have agreed to that presumption. So that's important to remember when somebody gets hit.
Here's the bylaw in its entirety. In cases involving name, image, and likeness offers, arguments and or activities in which related to communications and conduct are subject to NCAA regulations, the infractions process shall presume a violation occurred if circumstantial evidence or information suggests that one or more parties engaged in impermissible contact. The enforcement staff may make a formal allegation based on the presumption. The hearing panel shall conclude a violation occurred unless the institution or involved individual clearly demonstrates with credible and sufficient information that all communications and conduct surrounding the name, image, and likeness activity complied with NCAA legislation. Now, what this does is basically forces you to comply with the investigation. Otherwise, there's no reason to.
Well, not only that, but it also forces you to have all your ducks in a row with regards to NIL.
This story that I linked in here, I don't know if you've read this, but
I am reading.
This is hilarious. The policy has at least one very obvious problem. Everyone in college sports is full of crap, which
they don't say crap.
Incredibly true. Okay, yeah. Let's be honest.
But just for your own reading pleasure, you can find this story on defector.com. So feel free at your leisure.
But I think this is the only way the NCAA has any teeth whatsoever, because again, you can just say, if the NCAA, which has no subpoena power or anything like that, they can't force you to hand over your cell phone. They can't force you to do anything. So basically they're saying, okay, well, you don't have to give us your phone and
But
tell us anything. But if you
if
don't,
you want to get off on this, then you will give us your phone, because otherwise we're just going to assume you did it.
and I think that's the only way to work this if you're the NCAA.
Well, yeah, because not only do you not have subpoena power, but your enforcement / investigative staff is not, it's not the FBI. They're not just hemorrhaging investigators in Indianapolis. I mean, I don't know how many they have, but it's not their primary goal. And so they don't have a whole lot of folks engaging in that endeavor. So, I mean, yeah, we are, unless you show us otherwise, we've declared you guilty. Now it's on you to show us otherwise.
And to be honest, based on what we've seen, Jaden Rashada and I mean, Texas A&M's class last year, let's be honest, the NIL has become the Wild West, and this is one of the quickest ways they can rein it in. And a lot of folks are giving the NCAA grief about this, but I think it's the only way possible for them to have any type of oversight whatsoever. So, good on these athletics directors who got into the committee meeting and said, we've got to do something. What can we do?
Right.
This is it. And
yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've said all along that the transfer portal and NIL, at their base, I think they're both good. They both need some tweaks. Here's a tweak to the NIL.
This is the best way to enforce no pay for play, because we all know that pay for play is happening, and it's supposed to be the complete opposite. It's supposed to be establish your name, image, and likeness as a valuable entity and then profit from it. It's not profit from your recruiting.
Yeah, it's not create a market coming out of high school and sell yourself to the highest bidder. It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to happen until you get on campus. And the thing is, people have been so out front with it. Again, going back to the whole Rashada situation. And that's not the only one. No.
But it's the most recent, and it's obviously, with his decommitment, with all of the news surrounding it, it's the most obvious to me that there was a pay for play situation,
and that certainly there was an infraction.
About as obvious as it gets. Now, can the NCAA go back and say, anything? If he didn't get paid and they let him out of his NIL, did they actually violate anything? That's the question there.
Yeah, and there are a lot of questions. There are going to be a lot of questions. We heard about the PWOs at Tennessee or wherever that are getting their scholarship value in exchange for coming to school as a PWO. I mean, is that a violation?
I mean, if they, one of the things that the Tennessee's collective does is anybody who gets paid from those collectives, they may show up at a tailgate for basketball. Like Josh Heupel showed up at a basketball tailgate the other day with a couple of players. And so that's how some of those players are earning by physical appearances.
Sure.
And I think that's interesting because there's no way to prove that, I guess, other than making sure you take photographs of every time you go out to an event and you explicitly say, I'm doing this because I'm getting paid to do it. I mean, it's kind of hard.
I think the bigger question though is those arrangements being in place before you sign your national letter of intent or before you get on campus. Is that a violation?
Absolutely. If it's ahead of you being there. Now, if someone says, hey, if you come as a PWO, we've got options for you.
Right.
Like when you're recruited to NCAA D3, guy calls you and says, look, I know it's $16,000 to come to school here if you don't even live on campus. I know that. But there are ways we can get, we can take care of that for you. And there's an implication, but there's not necessarily an offer. So I don't know if that
and
makes
here's
a
the thing.
difference.
Here's the thing. That works both ways. I mean, because
Sure.
there's an implication, but there's not an offer. If you get there and then all of a sudden, oh, sorry, we're out of money. And you're on the hook for all that when you thought that you were going to be taken care of, then what?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's I think the best part about that is you can't risk your reputation for that. If you're a school,
Mm-hmm.
you can't, because that kids talk, and that kid's gonna go to when he transfers or whatever, he's gonna start telling other kids, and they're gonna tell their friends. And when Tennessee or such and such comes calling at the to that high school, they're gonna say, "Nah, man, you did my boy wrong. I'm not coming. Why would I come to you? I don't trust you." So you kind of have to make good on those no matter what, somehow. I mean, that's kind of the NIL is like the worst. It's the worst of the worst free market capitalism. I mean, let's be honest. That's what it is. You have to make good on it because you can't afford for someone
Not
to leave you a bad review. So
NIL as Yelp, huh?
I mean, if there was a Yelp for NIL, Jaden Rashada would definitely be leaving a 1-star on Florida's. Jaden Rashada, by the way, who has signed with the Arizona State.
Arizona State.
Kyle Whittingham getting this guy.
Who?
Kyle Whittingham.
No. He left Utah?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No. Who's the coach there? Hold on.
What?
Dillingham. Jeez.
Kenny Dillingham.
Yes, Dillingham, not Whittingham. I was like, I
Oh.
swear that's the guy's name. And then you said Utah. I was like, no, you're right. It's not Utah. Dillingham, Whittingham, they're all the same.
Dilly.
Potato,
You're making my
potato.
head hurt, man. Jeez. Yeah.
I'm glad you
Yes.
said. I was like, wait, you're right. That's Utah. Oh,
I
man.
thought I know a little something.
Yeah, I just got to come up with his name.
Yeah.
Anyway, we need to take our first break. We don't have Karen Booker yet, but we will reach out in effort to make sure that we can get her on in the next segment. We'll talk a little TREVECCA and Ohio Dominican this weekend. They've got a big one, so stick around. Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll be right back after these short messages. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones and Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones and Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go toward their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Chris Yow, Mo Patton here with you on this Friday, a beautiful Friday, deceptively beautiful. It is still cold outside.
Oh, it's
for now.
It's beautiful. It's great to look at.
You can look at it all day. Just
don't be out in it.
You know, I heard a guy the other day say, it's cold outside when you walk outside and it's cold. and I thought, well, he's not wrong. Justin, there's you a joke to use on moms.
Thanks, man. I'm going to be sure to use it.
But next week, you won't have to worry about it being cold outside, because next week it's going to be in the mid-60s all week long. So that's what you got to love it. You got to love Tennessee, right?
And this is why Nissan can't grow grass.
This is why. See, there's no reason that we shouldn't have turf, because this is why. Oh, man. Mo, TREVECCA's got a pretty big weekend coming up. The Trojans are hosting Ohio Dominican in is it Great Midwest?
Mm-hmm.
Great Midwest Athletic Conference matchup. You've got former Vandy All-American and Vandy Hall of Famer Karen Booker coaching the TREVECCA Lady Trojans, I guess. Mm-hmm. Trojan women. Trojan women sounds a bit like Spartan women. And former Vanderbilt women's basketball coach Melanie
Balcom?
Balcom, that's it. I couldn't decide if it was Balcom or Balcom.
No,
so
it's
I was
Balcom.
hoping you could tell me.
Yeah, okay.
I was like,
glad I could help. Yeah.
I didn't know. I was going to go. I was pointing at you like Thamel was coming.
Oh, my fault. I did not see you point because I did not have the screen up. But
I was trying to get to the pointer.
Yeah.
I need help on the last name.
And it's a big game for TREVECCA. It's the second of 4 straight at home for them, and they've had a pretty productive post-Christmas slate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They've won 8 of their last 9 starting on New Year's Eve.
They've won 11 straight at home, so a homestand is good.
Absolutely. So,
and let's talk to TREVECCA women's coach Karen Booker, who joins us now. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you all?
Coach, we're doing well. Glad to get you in with us. As we like to say on this show, technology is a beautiful thing when it works.
Oh,
yeah. So glad you were able to get things figured out. As we were saying, big game tomorrow. Ohio Dominican coming in, led by their first-year coach and familiar name to a lot of folks around here, Melanie Balcom. Now, how much interaction did you and Melanie have? Obviously, you weren't there at the same time, but
we had a fair amount. I was refereeing for a good part of her tenure, and I had done summer camp over at for Vanderbilt, and I ended up getting recommended to be the observer for the SEC of the referees. So I actually did that for 6 years. So I would see Melanie. I went to every home game and would see Melanie, and she tried not to give too many tips or notes for me to add in my report. But, so I was around a pretty fair amount during her time.
You don't want to come back to this game, but you were an official, you were an observer. How does that inform your coaching?
Well, I speak their language, and I know, I mean, you go to a lot of camps when you're trying to be a college official and trying to move up the ladder, and you get a ton of coaching. So I know, what they're supposed to do, where they're supposed to be. And being an observer, I mean, I was an observer for the SEC. So I was watching the best and actually more or less learning from them. So, I think it's helpful that I can speak their language. We've had a couple of challenge calls that went our way. And so I feel like my basketball knowledge really played into that as well.
That's interesting. I like that. I mean, because Mo and I very differently officiate at the lowest of levels, but it does change the way you watch the game, whether you're a media member, a coach, a fan. I mean, just having put on the stripes, it's a different world.
Yes. And so, and then I also know when they get it right. And I appreciate, having been an official, trying to have a rapport and good communication with the officials. And I don't want to just holler at them, for no reason. And I think they really respect it when I do have a point about something for them to watch. So I try to pick and choose my spots.
That's always good.
Shows that work your games, Coach. Do they know that you've been an official? Does it, carry a little more weight when you do bring up a point with them?
If they don't know, I tell them.
Make sure they know.
Yes. Most of the home officials know. And I've actually officiated with a lot of them.
That's funny.
So,
look, Coach, you've got a big game this weekend against Ohio Dominican. Obviously 10-4 in conference play right now, 15-7 overall, having a fantastic year. And again, 11 straight at home, 10 in a row this year. You're playing for a little bit more than just a win. You need to keep pace to stay in that top 4 and maybe get a home game in the tournament.
Yes. And I think we're 11-4, but who's counting?
Look, far be it from me. I'm looking at the standings, but you know how these websites get, you may be right.
According to the schedule on your website, Coach, you are 11-4.
See,
the conference isn't.
The conference needs to catch up.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised at all. Oh, well, anyway, they'll need a win, or I say need a win. They can continue to win and potentially host a tournament game in the GMAC. So that would be great. We'll hopefully get Coach Booker back here in just a second. So anyway, that is interesting though, that she's like, hey, look, now I've been an official, so you just don't come at me. I know your guy. That's funny. Anyway, TREVECCA 10-4, 15-7 on the year. And what'd you say, Mo? Eight?
They've won 8 of their last 9, I believe, since New Year's.
Goodness gracious. You'll take that. Now, unfortunately, they have Ashland in their conference, and Ashland is 22-0 on the year. And that's where things get a little rough when you've got a team like Ashland in the conference, and you've got they're the best and you want to compete against the best, but boy, that makes it tough when you're trying to get into the tournaments for sure. There she is.
And
Well,
there we go.
Anyway, 11-4 it seems to be right. So
Yeah.
we're going to go with your count, Coach.
Okay. And I'm on the phone, and you know how the only thing that sometimes seems to work is when you power it down and back
Oh,
on.
yeah.
So anyway, hopefully it'll survive the rest of our time.
You can make a lot of money, Coach, as an IT person just by telling people turn it off and turn it back on. So we'll roll with that. But you know, one of the things that you stressed stepping into this new role in your first year as TREVECCA women's basketball coach was you wanted to try to recruit locally, and it looks like you've got some local folks on your roster making some noise, and you've got some local folks poised to come onto campus next year as well. We just saw Keely Carter just hit the 1,000 point mark for her career in y'all's win last night, and she's from Macon County, is that right?
Yes, and was I want to say Miss Basketball her senior year. So, you know, she is one that probably could have gone Division I. I know she had, you know, a lot of schools recruiting her. So thankful that she chose TREVECCA and you know, the smaller atmosphere. And yeah, it's been good. I had offered a couple of recruits in the summer. I was trying to get out in front before they hit recruiting in July, and hopefully that helped because we did end up signing the two that I initially offered to. And Brianna, I got Brianna and Brayley, and but Brianna Burgess and Brayley Bushman.
Mm-hmm.
Tongue twisters. And then we got Ebony Perry coming from Brentwood Academy. So we are very excited about adding those three. And I am still looking for a post player. So if anybody's listening out there, we need a very strong post player, preferably 6'2". So
6'2". A 6'2" post player. If you've got a 6'2" post player who isn't signed, Coach Booker would like to talk to you. Yeah. You can reach her at klbooker@trevecca.edu. So
send the film.
5'11" to do it in this league as well, but you know, they just need to really be really strong. We have a couple of strong post players, and both of them will be seniors next year. So, you know, we want to bring in possibly a freshman, but even a junior college player that, you know, can hang with the academics over here and, you know, everything that TREVECCA has to offer. So,
Coach, you know a thing or two about post play?
I hope so. Spent a lot of years trying to gain some skills. So,
what concerns you? What do you like about this situation tomorrow against Ohio Dominican?
Well, they have a very youthful team, and so I'm hopeful that our experience will go a long way. And you know, as you mentioned, our home being undefeated at home this season, you know, we seem to kind of pull things together a little bit better playing at home. Yeah, you know, traveling can sometimes wear you out a little bit. So I'm not sure if that's the difference, but you know, and then just playing in front of our home crowd and all of our fans here, that makes such a big difference.
Coach, before we let you go, I don't know if you've been keeping up with the WNBA's free agency tracker, but New York and Las Vegas seem to be duking it out right now in free agency, and boy, that's certainly going to be something to watch if you're a fan of women's basketball, huh?
Yes, I did. You know, with New York bringing in another top player, and
Courtney Vandersloot yesterday.
Yes, and I think it was mentioned that they're the only you know, original team that hasn't won a title. So I guess trying to pull it all together. And I have worked with Becky Hammond. I got the opportunity to coach her and learn some things from her as well at Colorado State and with the semi-pro team, the Colorado Chills. So I'm always pulling for her with the Aces. So that was great to see her team win the championship in her first year. So.
Well, I'll tell you, if you're going to pull for somebody, she's one to do it, and the Aces are certainly ones to do it. Having picked up Candace in free agency earlier this week, so like Chris said, it kind of looks like that's your predetermined WNBA championship series right there, the Liberty and the Aces.
Yeah, very well could be, and that would be quite the exciting matchup. Maybe like TREVECCA versus Ashland.
Listen, I would love to see that. Obviously, I don't. Is the GMAC tournament, the semifinals and finals somewhere? Are they somewhere else, or are they on campus as well?
I want to say that the top 4 teams get to host one home game, and then the rest of the tournament would be at the top seed. So
okay. So undefeated Ashland, undefeated overall, undefeated in conference. They're pretty darn good, Coach.
I say, though, that when we played them, the coach seemed disappointed, but somewhat relieved that Emma Palmer was not able to play in that game. She had twisted her ankle the game prior. And so, I think the team would be pretty fired up if we do get that opportunity. Playing them with our full, if all of our top weapons. So,
well, we'd love to see it. Anytime you get a chance to play the best, it's always that's what you want to do when you're trying to become the best. You got to beat the best. So
it was really exciting to beat Kentucky Wesleyan because the team, most of the players here had never beaten them. So that was a huge, huge win for us. And we just want to keep things going.
Well, sounds good, Coach. Like we said, you've got Ohio Dominican tomorrow at 1:00 up on the hill, followed by home games Thursday and next Saturday against Finlay. How do y'all pronounce that?
I would go with the Finlay.
Okay. All right, we'll go with that. And then Tiffin next Saturday to close out the homestand. But Karen Booker, the first-year women's basketball coach at TREVECCA, joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Coach, we appreciate your time, and good luck to y'all tomorrow afternoon.
All right. Thanks for having me.
All righty.
All right. Before we get out of here, let's take a look. We'll stay kind of local here with Conference USA baseball preseason poll. Their preseason poll was released yesterday, and Middle Tennessee State right there in the middle. First-year coach, going to be a little different. And then, of course, Dallas Baptist not picked to win it. How about that?
How about that? Not picked to win it. Only 4 first-place votes overall. So Louisiana Tech must have a lot coming back.
They've got the preseason pitcher of the year. So there's that. But if you take a look at the preseason all-conference team on the next slide, Justin, you will see.
Nope.
No, there we go. You will see Middle Tennessee State has one player on the all-conference team, and that is Columbia Central product, Jaden Ham.
Actually, they got 2, Chris.
Oh, I didn't see Jared up there.
Yeah. Jared Vito from I'm not sure if he's from Friendship. I think he's from the Lebanon area, though. But yes, Jaden Ham, and speaking with his dad, Chris, the junior from Columbia Central, shaping up to get ready to do some great things this spring, followed by a selection in the MLB draft, most likely. So certainly want to keep an eye on Jaden this spring for the Blue Raiders.
He was certainly a big part of their bullpen last year. I think he's going to have a little bit more to say this year. Jonathan Fincher of La Tech is the preseason pitcher of the year. And look at that, man. UTSA out here with all the pitchers.
Yeah. A starter, two relievers, and an infielder as well. So, yeah.
They're not playing around.
They play a little ball in Texas. So, yeah, it's not a great shock.
Oh man. Well, anyway, there's your preseason all conference team and preseason selections for Conference USA. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little college football as Texas and Oklahoma may be coming into the SEC a little sooner than we expected, but also they may not. So we'll talk about the reports that are conflicting and much more on the other side of the break. Stick around. Main Street Sports Today returns.
Walmart Supply Chain is hiring in Lebanon. Earn up to $22.25 an hour when you join our new fulfillment center. Enjoy competitive pay and premium perks, including 100% paid college tuition, 401k match, flexible schedules, a free Walmart Plus membership that includes discounts, and free Paramount Plus, paid time off, and so much more. Fulfilling work starts right here. Text JOIN to 240-240. That's JOIN 240-240 to apply now.
You've been putting back a few, and a few becomes a few too many. For a moment, you think about calling for a ride. Nah, you live nearby. What's the worst that can happen? You get pulled over, your insurance goes up, you lose your license, you total your car, you kill someone.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd. The goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Don't miss a minute of the action this season. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets to get your seats today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets. And we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
This is Chris Yow with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat.
She's on Thinking Out Loud, presented by Regions, and Out of Pocket with Alyssa Lang. It is, in fact, Alyssa Lang.
I'm a little nervous. I'm going to lower the bar for guests now.
Oh, no.
Like, apologies in advance. It sounds like
SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey.
You got that radio voice.
I do.
It's a good sound.
Thanks for radio, too.
As do we.
And then here's the other thing. You guys, you're spot on with the name. Everybody wants to be on Main Street. Everybody wants to be on Main Street. So,
and we reach every Main Street in Middle Tennessee, Coach.
Yeah, that's it. So
Perfect.
when you are on Main Street and you are moving,
you gotta love it.
Like you're moving. I was impressed.
I'm glad someone.
It's time to get tickets for the Nash Vegas Casino Night at Auction presented by King Jewelers. It's Wednesday, February the 8th at Bridgestone Arena. This year's theme is reverse retro, so break out the Musters jerseys and Y2K fashion. Challenge Roman Yossi to a game of blackjack, or join Ryan McDonough as he rolls the dice at the craps table. Mix and mingle with the players and Preds personalities while bidding on auction items and tasting food from local restaurants. All proceeds benefit the Preds Foundation. Visit NashvillePredators.com/gala.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mo, before we get into this, I want to mention you will be, speaking of busy weekends, you will be pretty busy tomorrow at the Ag Expo Center. And if anyone needs to reach you, that's too bad.
I'm sorry.
You won't have service. So if anyone needs to reach you,
you're
gonna have to come to the Expo Center and find
yeah,
them.
good luck with that. Exactly. Yeah, I will be busy, but I will be out of touch because internet and the Williamson County Ag Expo do not necessarily get along. So
pretty sure the same people who put that together built the gyms. I'm almost certain.
It would just seem like somebody could come up with a booster or something. I don't know. Yeah.
One would think. But yeah, so the wrestling duels, state duels are tomorrow. So if you are not planning to go, you probably should. It's a lot of fun. And if you are planning to, or if you aren't planning to go and you just can't get out there, then obviously we will have full coverage on mainstreetpreps.com and mainstreetmurray.com as well. I know we've got some local teams.
We've got a pretty good bunch of local teams. I don't have my stuff in front of me, but I know Summit, Brentwood, Wilson Central are among the local entrants in Class 2A. Page, Fairview, and Tullahoma in Class A. Not sure of the D2 field, and that's unfortunate. I'm trying to get it pulled up real quick. Chris, you got to warn me about this stuff.
Oh, I just wanted to let folks know that we were going to be there.
That they couldn't reach me tomorrow. Yeah.
They can't, and you're going to be out of pocket. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you want to talk to Mo, you got to go find him at the Expo Center. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Come on down. Holler at me. Stop by. Say hi.
We had a comment about the event. So that's what made me think that we should mention it to folks who have not thought about it. So
yeah. What's crazy is I can't find the schedule on the TSSAA's website.
Well, that's unfortunate. Well, we can get to it a little bit later, matter of fact.
Okay. Well,
because that will give us some time. Time to look. But real quick, the Brett McMurphy is reporting that now that the Big 12 and both Oklahoma and Texas have come to an agreement for the two schools to leave the Big 12 and join the SEC in 2024. So just one season with the lame duck season. He also says that ESPN and Fox are, quote, not satisfied with the overall deal. So that's why it hasn't been completed. No specific deadline yet to get this done. This pretty much sums up the world of college sports, right? Media,
TV
basically being
TV is dictating this whole thing. Yeah.
So that's interesting to me. But
what's the old saying? Follow the money.
Yeah, here's the thing. The only people who want them in the conference is Fox. Texas doesn't want to be there. Oklahoma doesn't want to be there. The Big 12 doesn't want them there.
But Fox does, and so they'll probably be there.
They most likely will. I mean, who's going to say, man? I mean, money wise, they can't pay Fox what they need to pay them.
Right.
But, and I guess the media deal has something to do with, the way that those contracts are laid out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, ESPN, you would think would be all for it.
Well, sure. Yeah, you would think because.
But according to this, they're not.
They've got the SEC, right? So, I mean, more is better as far as that goes, you would think.
That's what I would think. Yeah. I mean, if Fox is mad, you would think ESPN would be happy.
Yeah. It would seem.
So there you go. I don't know what this means for the SEC. I mean, obviously it means that they're going to have to come up with a scheduling system quicker. I think they probably already have one. I think they've been working on it obviously since day one.
I can't imagine that the SEC is hearing this now and saying, "Oh shoot, we got to come up with a schedule for 24."
No, I don't think so either. But I do think that that may be why ESPN's struggling, because they've got to figure out how to incorporate, an extra SEC week, because they've got to go to 9 conference games.
Well, you would think.
And in doing so, I mean, that's definitely going to change things for ESPN. The good thing is for SEC fans is your biggest game of the week won't won't have to wait until after what tennis tournament is it that CBS always had in like September that would always push off the big 2:30 kickoff until like week 4?
Was it the U.S. Open?
I think it might be the U.S. Open where they've always got, but it was always so weird. I'm like, why is there not a CBS game? Oh, that's right, because the U.S. Open is so
we
important.
got tennis. Yeah. Well,
So,
to some people it is.
Yeah, but I feel like maybe I'm wrong. I feel like college football brings in more money than the U.S. Open, but maybe not. I could be wrong. Could be wrong. I don't know. I've never looked at the ratings. Now, that being said, I'm looking forward to seeing what this does for the SEC as far as the college football playoff expansion, which, is going to happen next year as well. So it only makes sense for them to come in as the playoff expands, right?
Yeah.
How dumb would it be to wait a year?
Wait a year. Yeah.
Doesn't make much sense. Anyway, so there's that. We'll keep an eye on that and see what happens. But my guess is, in the end, we're going to see Texas in the SEC in Oklahoma next year.
Not this coming season, obviously, but next year. Yeah.
Yes, in 24. Real quick, it's official. Tommy Rees is the offensive coordinator at the University of Alabama.
And we talked a little bit about that yesterday. Didn't get to get as far into it as we wanted to, but
and this is from our favorite AP voter, Mike Berardino.
Oh, good Lord. What's he saying?
He just said that it's official.
Okay.
I'm not entirely surprised, but
It's
an
just a little
hire.
It's a little underwhelming, I think.
That's exactly what Alabama fans are thinking.
Yeah,
it's underwhelming.
Yeah. Underwhelming. It's not the name. It's not a name that you would have expected at Alabama, I don't think.
Well, there aren't any offensive coordinators out there that need rehab right now.
Apparently. Well, there's one.
Well, I don't think he's going to be getting any jobs as offensive coordinator soon. So yeah, I mean, the Nick Saban coaching rehab program is kind of, the only coach that needs rehab is already offensive coordinator at Texas A&M.
Does he still need rehab though?
I mean,
and how funny would it have been if he had left Texas A&M to take the Alabama job?
Oh, that would have been hilarious.
After having left UNLV as head coach to take the A&M OC job.
Yeah, that would have been fantastic.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Oh gosh, Bobby Petrino and Nick Saban on the same staff. I just don't know if I can handle it. Twitter couldn't. Can tell you that.
No, it might explode.
And speaking of Twitter, Tuscaloosa Ford posted a photo today of Jeremy Pruitt buying a truck in Tuscaloosa, and Bama fans are taking that really well. They don't know how to feel right now because they're thinking Tommy Rees, WTF.
They do have both coordinator jobs open, right? So I mean,
not anymore, but
well.
But yes, I mean they're super pumped about the potential of Jeremy Pruitt being a defensive coordinator just because he bought a truck in Tuscaloosa. This is, I mean, and NUBYJAS WILBORN, who will come on with us in just a moment, he will confirm this. There's no such thing as not silly season in Alabama when you're talking college football. I mean, it's ridiculous at all times, but this is just kind of taking the cake for me.
NUBYJAS is just glad it's Alabama and not Auburn.
And not Auburn, because he doesn't have to deal with it today.
Hey, not my pigs, not my farm, right?
That's right. Not neither of those.
Yeah.
Oh man. And so that means the Titans are now looking for an offensive coordinator, and Tommy Rees will not be it. Not that he was ever an option. but he's not on the list anyway. But I don't think we're going to find out anything about a Titans offensive coordinator until after the Super Bowl. They're going to offer it to either Nagy or Bieniemy and make them turn them down. And if they do at that point,
then it gets interesting.
Then
Talk
it gets
about
real
silly
interesting.
season. Yeah.
Then it gets real interesting. But anyway, Fresno State quarterback Jake Haener, is that how you say it? He was voted the national team's practice player of the week. And the American team's practice player of the week was offensive tackle from the University of Tennessee, Darnell Wright.
From the Senior Bowl.
Yes, who is finding himself quickly rising up draft boards.
Good for him.
I don't know that he's going to rise to 11, but, not taking Trey Smith a couple years ago has come back to bite us. So maybe, just remember, if history repeats itself.
Anyway. Yeah, if you pass on him, you're probably going to pay for it later.
I'm just saying. Just saying. All right. Well, let's take a break because NUBYJAS is standing by. NUBYJAS WILBORN will join us and talk a little Auburn hoops. They've got Tennessee this weekend. Bruce Pearl's return to Thompson Bowling Arena. We get to it right after this on Main Street Sports Today. Y'all stick around.
This is Chris Yow with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee sports editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama. So the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yow, Mo Patton on this Friday edition, and we are going to talk a little hoops here in just a second with NUBYJAS WILBORN of AL.com, who covers the Auburn Tigers. Auburn will be at Tennessee this weekend. Top 25 matchup, 25th ranked Auburn and second ranked Tennessee for now. Definitely will not be come Sunday when the AP poll is released, or Monday. But speaking of football, NUBYJAS has been a little busy today, I'm sure, as Auburn just picked up a pretty big recruit commitment from Walker White out of Little Rock Christian, picking up, taking his talents to the Plains. NUBYJAS, what's up, man?
Well, I mean, first of all, hey, good to see you, gentlemen, as always. Thanks for having me. Happy New Year to you. Long story short, man, I mean, hey, man, Hugh Freeze. Now, again, listen, there's going to be a lot to talk about Hugh Freeze as we go along, but so far, give him credit. He has come on like gangbusters when it comes to recruiting. You look at taking that class from being in the 50s when Brian Harsin was there to it becoming a top 15 class. You look at what he did in the portal when it comes to getting basically 4 offensive linemen that could start today. All right. You look at the quarterback they picked up, and one of the top quarterbacks in the country. I mean, hey, when it comes to recruiting and all that stuff, man, it's very difficult to say anything negative about Hugh Freeze right now. I mean, it just is. Now, we'll see how things go. There are obviously going to be concerns as you go forward, but today he picked up another legitimate potential star quarterback, and the grind continues with him. So you got to give him his credit, man.
I have the worst of the worst Twitter because I have so many friends from my home state, And so like I have Bama Twitter, I have Auburn Twitter, I have Vol Twitter, all just piling up my timeline. And Auburn Twitter today is just on the highest of highs, while Bama Twitter is on the lowest of lows with the Tommy Rees news. And it's just like, man, I don't know what to do with my Twitter right now. I keep watching it, and it's very weird to see Bama Twitter down, Auburn Twitter up. It's unusual. So
oh boy.
It's a weird world out there, man. It's a weird world. So.
Well, I mean, listen, man. Look, college football, as we know, got to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be the ups and downs. And right now, hey, look, since Hugh Freeze has come on, Auburn has definitely seen a big difference. Really, unfortunately, ever since Brian Harsin was let go, you saw what Cadillac did. Personally, I still think Cadillac probably should have gotten more of an opportunity as a head coach. We can disagree on that or whatever have you, depending on who you are, how you believe. But Hugh Freeze, hey, he's out here right now. In Alabama, they're trying to – but listen, man. Alabama still had, the number one recruiting class in the country and probably one of the best recruiting classes ever, right? So, I mean, like, down is very relative, okay? But also, everything is a thing down this way. You know how it goes, man. I mean, listen, people really care about this stuff. They care about it to levels that are, quite honestly, a little bit insane. But, hey, that same level cares. Well, I have a job, and, I get to make a little bit of a salary. So, I'm thankful for the crazies, but it is insane. Everybody just relax. Spring football is coming, and real football will be here soon. Because eventually, toe will meet leather. Eventually. And all the talking, all the things will eventually not matter.
In the meantime, though, NUBYJAS, as Chris was saying, Alabama is a little bit down. I don't think Tommy Rees, as the new offensive coordinator, moves the needle in a way that Alabama fans have come to expect.
Okay. Show me an offensive coordinator that would move the needle. Come on, man. Like, let's.
I think they were pretty excited when Kiffin came. I think they were a little excited about Sarkisian just because, I don't really know why just because, but I feel like they were excited about those guys in a way that they aren't going to be.
Look, let's be real. Rees comes from Notre Dame, and that's the whole thing. He's not going to understand the South. And look, man. The South ain't that much different anywhere else. Yes, it's different, but you can figure it out pretty quick. What's really going to matter is can he get a quarterback, okay? Like, let's just cut through all that. I get it. I understand. Guys from Notre Dame player, recruited up there. The assumption is he may not be able to recruit down south.
Born in L.A., yeah, he knows the SEC so well.
Well, hey, man, look, here's the
recruit California, though. That's what you don't think they want to recruit California? They absolutely want to recruit California.
Where the quarterback's coming from, that's the thing.
California.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, come on, guys. Relax. RELAX.
Or don't. This is fun to watch. I don't know what you're talking about.
But we also know it doesn't really mean anything.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, because listen, as long as Nick Saban's still that coach, he'll be okay, okay?
Yep.
Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I think we have, about 15 to 20 years of a very consistent track record from Mr. Saban. I think he has earned a little bit of benefit of the doubt, okay?
As Braves fans, we are fond of saying in AA, as in Alex Anthopoulos, we trust. I think that Alabama fans could kind of adopt that and just cut Nick a little slack on this one, man.
I'm just saying, show me more often than not where Nick Saban has gotten it right. And I mean, this ain't 3 years, this ain't 5, this ain't 10 years. I mean, how long has Nick Saban been the coach, okay?
Exactly.
I mean, you have players now who have grown up their whole entire life from birth with Nick Saban as the Alabama coach, and Alabama regularly going to championship games and things of that nature. I'm going to say, I think Nick Saban's going to figure it out, okay?
I wish they would have hired Todd Grantham as defensive coordinator, though, because the melting that would have done. Todd Grantham as DC and Tommy Rees as offensive coordinator, I promise you, Bama Twitter would have just imploded.
Yeah, sure, but
Nate Oates be damned. Bama Twitter would have imploded.
I mean, but look, here's the thing, though, right? I mean, in all seriousness, it doesn't matter. I know they got to get their tweets off and get their feelings out there, but it doesn't matter, okay? Because Alabama, until they're not, they're Alabama, okay? They just are. I mean, now, hey, this could change because things do change. It is an ever-moving world, particularly with NIL and the portal. In fact, I was in Mobile for the Senior Bowl, and a lot of the conversations around there are very much about the portal and NIL and how things are changing, and how things are moving. Like, you look at some of these things, how I have even heard that there are players now who, when they do their NIL deal, they're negotiating snap counts, okay?
Oof. That's interesting.
Allegedly. Again, I don't know if you could put that on paper. I'm just saying that this is part of the talk that's going out there. If you're a running back, you might want fewer carries, okay? Because you're not trying to get all broken up if you're trying to go to
before
the
you.
Right. Now, if you play another position, you might want more reps, or you know what I'm saying, or know what you're going to get. And the fact that, all right, we saw the situation where Saban allegedly told the kid to kick rocks as he asked for a certain amount of money, allegedly, and for his girlfriend to get in law school. Well, that kid ended up going somewhere, didn't he? Hey, Ed, let's talk about that a little bit. Where did the kid go?
Where did the kid go?
One of them went to Colorado. And who was coach there?
Nick Affleck partner.
Hey, now remember how people were talking about Saban accusing Dion for paying players, right? Hey,
that's true.
Now we don't know what this young man got, if he got matched or whatever with whatever he was wanting. Okay, we don't know that because we don't know. That's the other thing about this NIL stuff too. We do not know what these guys are making. Any valuations you see on certain websites, I'm not going to say their names because I'm not trying to go do that whole thing. When you talk to people who run the actual collectives, they're like, we don't know where they're getting those numbers from. And you even have it to the point where players are going in and saying, hey, this is my value. And the collective's like, that's your value to them. The same way their star system says one thing, but our recruiting rankings say something different.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm just saying, man, like there's just so much to this stuff and it's changing, it's moving, the goalposts are moving with, hey, guys, there's not a lot of answers, okay? Because you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing, and I wish people also will think about this. Explain to me how you could be a name, image, and licensing expert when it's only existed for 2 years? I mean, I'm just saying, how can you be an expert in something when the rules of it change every 3-6 months?
They changed yesterday.
The rules change all the time, but they move. They go tell me how you're an expert in it.
I'll stop you when you start lying. NUBYJAS WILBORN of AL.com joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, and we have gotten severely sidetracked. NUBYJAS, Auburn goes to Thompson Bowling Arena tomorrow for a top 25 basketball game. I don't know if the return of Bruce Pearl to TBA still means anything as many times as he's been back now or not, but number 25 Auburn, as Chris said, number 2 for now Tennessee, coming off of a disappointing loss in Gainesville the other night. How do you see this one shaping up? Auburn needing to gain some stock, I guess, right?
Well, look, they beat Georgia and Auburn on Wednesday. They needed that win. They needed to score some points after 2 losses, one against Texas A&M, and obviously going to Morgantown and getting down by 17.5. They came back, made it a game, but by then they got down by too many points, okay? Auburn's fortunes were really boiled down to, can they hit shots and can they hit the free throws? Defensively, they're going to be what they are. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be athletic. They're going to do things. They don't really have consistent shooting. One guy they thought they were going to get it from was Chance Westry, but he just has not been able to make his way on the court for various reasons, okay? And we don't even want to get into all that. But what it really boils down to is, one, Bruce Pearl coming back to TBA. I mean, it still hits because Bruce Pearl was very respected in that community. You know, I don't think there's any really bad blood between Bruce and that program or people in that city. He definitely has friends there who appreciate him and appreciate what he did for that program. Now, I don't know how well him and Rick Barnes get along. You know, there were definitely some back channel barbs kind of thrown about some players that, well, a player that Tennessee signed that Auburn was in on in this last class, okay? And there's a presumption that allegedly Auburn was outbid for said player, okay? And so that may be more of a story if it actually something that maybe is becoming a thing. The point is, man, look, I think Tennessee is a better team than Auburn. Thompson Bowling, obviously. I mean, look, I was up there last year, man. That arena, it gets pretty rowdy up in there, okay? Them old East Tennessee boys, they had them a good old time, all right? And they show, but also last year, Auburn beat a lot of people in the SEC, and, you know, they do the whole Twitter thing and all that stuff, and the peacocking and everything from last year. And folks ain't forgot now. And you're a team that lost 2 lottery picks. So people, when they look at you, they see food, all right? And they want to eat. And that's what it is. Now, I give Auburn a lot of credit to this point. You look at what they've done this season to be as good as they have been, considering what they lost. But also, you talked about the football team getting a couple signings. Well, the basketball team has signed several really good players. They think right now they have like the number 3 class in the country, depending on who you believe, for 2024. Now it's just bridging this gap in 2023. I think Auburn is a tournament team. Can they beat Tennessee up there? Sure they can. Will they? I don't know. But that's also why we play the games, man. So it makes it fun. Auburn will go up there to play hard. Also, there will be a lot of Auburn fans there. It's going to be a party up in Knoxville, man. But I think it's an early game, right?
I believe it
1
is.
o'clock. 1 o'clock on ESPN.
Yeah, 1 o'clock Eastern. That'll be a little early.
But 1 o'clock Central, so 2 o'clock Eastern.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I mean, look, man. Auburn's going to go up there. They'll give it their best. I mean, you know, I like where Wendell Green is as a point guard. I like what Janai Broome is doing. They have a chance. I think Tennessee's the better team, though. But, hey, any given Saturday or Sunday or whatever.
Well, and the thing is, Tennessee fans will tell you that Tennessee is at any point liable to throw a clunker in there. Exhibit A, Kentucky. Exhibit B, Florida. You know?
Yeah, I mean, but also it's the SEC, man. I mean, you know, we talked about this on here before. I think right now, as far as depth, I would say the SEC, top to bottom, is a better basketball conference than is a football conference right now. I mean, and that's not saying it's still the best football conference. Don't get me wrong, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you really want to go, there might be a better baseball conference than anything. That's a whole other conversation there. I mean, hey, you put 4 teams in the College World Series last year. I'm just saying.
Well,
neither of them included Tennessee. And
Tennessee was none of them. Yeah.
So, right, exactly. Tennessee was number 1 most of the year, right? So, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, but we ain't got to get all that. That's the only thing in the weeds. But as a basketball conference, if you really look at it, hey man, any given day, any given night, you can get beat. You go out there to College Station playing around, you can get smoked by Texas A&M. No, I think Texas A&M is I think they're an okay ball club, but when they get hot, they can get you, especially out there. You know, Florida, hey, they can get you down there in Gainesville. Georgia, look at what they've done. I mean, they beat Auburn in Athens, okay? They have won some big games too. Like Kentucky is down, but hey, man, Toshiba is still a bad man, and they got Severe Wheeler. If you just look at the conference, man, on any given night, anybody can lose. I mean, Vanderbilt, hey, you get up there, get some of the Memorial Magic you want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can catch you slipping. You go on down the line in that conference, man. It is a good conference. It's up-tempo. It's high pace. So, yeah, I mean, Auburn's in a situation right now. If you look at their record, you look at everything, I said from the beginning of the year, hey, if they can be a team that finds a way, okay, to go at least 500 in conference and maybe win a round or two in the SEC tournament, they're going to go to the NCAA tournament. And right now, they're in a position to do better than 500. Now, look, they still got a lot of tough games coming up. They still got a whole situation that's going to happen, and it's not going to be easy. But, hey, man, we'll see. And then, again, this is what it – but, hey, in the SEC, ain't no slouches. Hell, Mississippi State can get you. Ole Miss can get you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it can happen. So, is it that Tennessee puts up a clunker or just some team just gets hot and beats you?
That's a good point. That's a good point. NUBYJAS WILBORN of AL.com joining us here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris?
Yeah, the only thing I would say, NUBYJAS, is, you know, both these teams are very good defensively, so should be an interesting and both of them can have days where they just couldn't hit water if they fell out of a boat on the offensive end. So we might see her bet the under is what I'm telling you. If you're out there, it's going to be a lot of fun. You're right. I'm excited, but we appreciate you taking some time with us today. I know we got crazy on football, but hey, you know how that is.
Oh, man, listen, man, it is what it is, man. It is a wild, wild place. But, you know, just to say this real quick, you know, look, I'll be honest, I'm definitely the person who had my concerns with Hugh Freeze. But so far, he's proven people wrong. And if I'm a journalist who reports what happens, I got to give him his props for what he's doing. Now, we'll see how it goes. My eyes are still open. My ears are still to the street. But for now, things are good. Things are good at Auburn right now.
You know, he said he tweeted a couple days ago. He basically said, "Look, if you want to know something, come talk to me. I've been open about everything that's ever happened." You know, now obviously he was open after he got caught, but it sounds like, I mean, he hasn't denied it and just been like deny. He's talked about everything, and he said, "Look, if you want to know something, come talk to me. I'm an open book." And I think that's admirable in his particular position, because there are some folks like Bobby Petrino who ran away.
I mean, listen, now I will say this with Hugh. He has not actually named the behaviors. He just said, I made some mistakes, okay? I don't remember him ever naming it. I remember he said, I made some poor choices. I make poor choices every day. I mean, you know, like, but what is a poor choice? A poor choice might be, you know, choosing orange juice instead of apple juice. A poor choice might be eating that Burger King when I probably could take a couple extra minutes and just cook my own meal. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are these bad choices? That being said, and let's be clear with this, okay? I personally do not care about Hugh Freeze allegedly hiring sex workers, okay? Don't care. I really don't. Sex work is work, in my opinion. Those women should be, women or men or whoever, should be able to make a living if that's how they want to make it, okay? And they should be able to be protected and safe doing so. I believe that. All right. Now, doing it on your work phone, not so smart. But at this point, that was like 6 years ago. You know, it's like the old, I don't know if you guys are familiar with The Wire. All right. Where,
oh, yeah.
Well, okay. So one of the Detective Carver did the thing to Daniels. And so the next time they have another detail, they want to bring Carver back in. And Carver's like, man, I don't know why you bring me back in after what I did to you last time. And Daniel says, hey, man, I would assume that you would be so ashamed for what you did that time, you wouldn't do that again. Now, I ain't saying you're not going to mess up some other ways. I'm just saying I would assume.
You're not going to mess up that way. That way.
I'd assume that Hugh Freeze would never, ever, ever call a woman of the night or person of the night on his work phone ever again. I would assume
he's probably not going to happen.
Now, whether or not he can stay out the DMs, I don't know. Because the real thing, and this is very real, and it has not been talked about enough, those messages he sent to that young lady, regardless of the content of them, should not have been done. And there are states like California where that kind of thing would get you in jail. Okay?
Yeah.
And now, hey, I would assume he has learned from that as well. But
I'm just surprised he doesn't run his Twitter, right?
But not anymore. Not from again, from what I have heard he does not anymore. I've been told that was a part of the conversations with the Auburn University there, that he would allow someone else to run that for him. Okay. But it's not the tweets. It's the DMing fan.
The DM. Yeah.
And here's my thing. Okay. Clearly, if you're a football coach who is going to DM a fan at 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. in the morning, okay, and you can see the timestamps on some of these DMs, okay, and you can find them. You can go search it. It ain't hard to find. People will show the screenshots of Hugh Freeze DMing them. Okay, that's why you're at Liberty. Okay, you're even at Ole Miss. Okay, that means you got rabbit ears. But see, you don't have to worry about it at Auburn, because at Auburn, people are not very opinionated about the football program at all.
I know they don't care about football.
No, they don't care about football at all. They're not very opinionated. He doesn't have to worry about it. So I guess Auburn would be a perfect place for a guy who's sensitive about opinions like that, because you have to worry about hearing those opinions, right?
Let me tell you, Auburn is a place that doesn't care what you do off the field if you're getting dubs on the field. That's the truth. I don't care. There are two names that I can tell you off the top, and I won't say them just because I don't, I ain't going there. But it's two coaches at Auburn in recent memory that they put dubs on the scoreboard, and didn't nobody care what they were doing off of it. So,
well, I mean, and here's the thing, right? We all have our boundaries, okay? Things in which we consider that are firm and hard boundaries that we just will not cross, okay? And you have a right to those. Some people's stretch out a little bit, okay? And that's the most ironic thing about this, right? What did they try to get Brian Harsin on? Allegedly having sex with a staffer, right? Which wasn't even true, or at least nothing that anybody was able to actually prove was happening, okay? Hitting an ex-hire Hugh Freeze. Now, again, hey, has Hugh Freeze learned from his transgressions? Only time will tell, man. But undeniably, the man can coach. I give him that. The man can coach, man. The man can coach. The man can recruit. The man can get people to buy into him. Because several people I have spoken to will tell you, man, I like Hugh Freeze. I respect him. I love the man, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? They talk about him in a way that Brian Harsin was not discussed.
Every good evangelicist can.
Hey, man, listen.
He learned from the best at Liberty, baby.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, too. And apparently, I guess he doesn't like when people say that about him. But, I mean, hey, man, like,
it is what it is, man.
It is what and hey, if it works, man, good for you. For me, whatever happens, happens. Like, I tell about time, like, hey, you never have to worry about me lying about Auburn. I don't have to.
You don't have to. It's entertaining enough.
Better. I couldn't script this if I wanted to, man.
He says he's got his eyes open and his ears are to the street. That's why he is the National Sports Media Association's 2022 Alabama Sports Writer of the Year. NUBYJAS WILBORN of AL.com joining us here on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. NUBYJAS, as always, it's a pleasure. Appreciate you taking some time with us on this Friday afternoon.
Hey, man, good seeing y'all, boys. Good seeing y'all faces, man. Love y'all, man. Thank y'all.
All righty.
Oh, Mo, it's that time.
It is.
It's been a great week. What a fantastic week it has been. We've had some of the best guests that we've had all year. Teresa Walker started it off. Obviously, Hayden King talking women's bracketology. Ben, Arthur, Heather Williams, Willie Donick. It's been a great week.
And to wrap it up with that guy.
And no doubt, he's always a pleasure.
He brings it.
Never fails. So we appreciate all of our guests all week long, and of course Karen Booker and NUBYJAS WILBORN today. We will be back on Monday at 2:00 with another week full of great guests and sports talk in the 2:00 hour. We thank you, and we will see you on the other side, Mo.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.